Alright, now that's interesting. We're gonna have to be very careful since we happen to be in a different wolf's territory. Oh my gosh! Pines, look at you! He's just like disappearing into the snow here. That is actually kind of hilarious. We need just a moment to appreciate that. In order to conceal himself as an all-black wolf, it seems that our mate Shattered Pines, here with Song of Silver, as the Starfall pack branch of the Starry Skies, finally carries on once more. Thank you guys so much for your patience while I get better again. I'm finally feeling quite a bit better. Glad to know that these two have quite a bit going for them. Like the fact that Shattered Pines as an all-black wolf is trying to kind of like hide himself, which we're gonna spoil by going ahead and starting to scent mark the area. But that's quite interesting to see. And what's also quite interesting is there is a den somewhere nearby. We got just a little hint of it. There is a den. I don't quite know how we sense it since we can't literally sense it, but it is in this unexplored territory that actually has just changed a little bit. It seems the Buffalo Plateau. What happens if we're able to get the rivalries between these packs going? Of course! Why play chess or checkers against one pack of wolves when possibly we could have 4 wolf pack chess, which at that point is probably just a war, or maybe like Chinese checkers? I gotta think about that metaphor. But what if, just as learning how to have the cougar go ahead and do the hunting for us, we allow ourselves to occupy a somewhat dangerous but very full of opportunity space where many of the different wolf packs might run into one another. So here we are standing at the edge of Coyote Creek pack territory, with the Buffalo Plateau pack having cut through some of the land that we were trying to claim from them. They've actually taken quite a bit of it, but we happen to know that the Buffalo Plateau pack, with its lead female still unnamed, I'm still debating on what we might want to name her, and I still want to be collecting your guys' ideas, but I do have some new name prompt lists for her and her pack for the Buffalo Plateau. I kind of want to name her like something about stampedes, or I need to learn more about buffalo lore and more about what makes the bison or the buffalo such a dramatic and amazing figure in the North American landscape. Fun fact, the bison slash buffalo was for a time my grandmother's, my tutu lady, so actually my Hawaiian grandmother's favorite animal, because she grew up in Hawaii and moved to California when she was a young married woman. She married somebody in the Navy. I mean, she saw Pearl Harbor be bombed, so we're talking about like this is a long time ago. So she grew up her whole life in Hawaii, and then she married a guy placed a little fair up in the Navy, and they moved to California, and she was blown away by how big the continent was and also how big buffalo were. They were her favorite animal for a long time, and so her home became, in her elder years, just absolutely full of everything buffalo paraphernalia. But she taught me one day one of the most vital lessons that has ever been passed down to me by an elder. And as we go ahead and as we think about what to go ahead and name the lead female of this Buffalo Plateau pack, we will contemplate that while also trying to, I want to make sure that we do a little bit of searching for a potential den site there. And I don't think we need to worry about, here, we don't really need to worry about the old markers for the bison skull right now, I think. But maybe we'll put, there might be a den here, so we'll come back and check on that later. And we'll go ahead and keep doing a little bit of scent marking and destroying of the Coyote Creek's competitive scent, while I now pass on to you this deep and vital wisdom that was passed on to me by my tutu lady. Tutu means elder in Hawaiian, and lady refers to the fact, oh boy, Okay, the male Eagle Creek dispersal. That's a dispersal wolf. I'm a little less worried about them, especially 2 hours old compared to some of the others. Aha, and here, yes. All right, so here's this spot where Coyote Creek had their scent mark. Yes, we've almost destroyed their scent enough that I feel kind of comfy in howling here, I think. Oh boy, but this is kind of in a contested area. However, I really think Silver and the Starfall pack are beginning to become wolves that really focus, especially as we smell these other wolves nearby, on focusing on the whole ecology of an area and what they could do. There seems to be another scent marker. Is that the, yeah, that's the Buffalo Plateau pack's new scent spot. But now these dispersal wolves are off after the Buffalo Plateau pack. And look at the size of that mountain. Oh man, and what other wolves are over here? All right, Tutulia's wisdom. The females from the benchmark pack might, can there be a whole nother pack that could potentially show up now? I hadn't even thought about that. But if the males from the Eagle Creek pack meet up with the females from the benchmark pack, look, I said four chess players facing off against each other, not 5. That actually is, I think, a game of Chinese checkers at that point, and that's not what I was trying to go for. I mean, that would definitely add a lot to the story. The story that just now, there we go, just now got a little bit more added to it. Oh man. And on the one hand, I really want to go and I want to see where these stranger wolves are. This is an absolute nexus of what looks to be not only the Cottonwood Creek pack coming in from the northwest, but also the Coyote Creek pack coming down from the north, the Buffalo Plateau pack coming up from the southeast, and our pack, that's 4 packs with this potential new group with Bite of Gravel being the only surviving female from those dispersals. I wonder if you do have the ability for new packs to become formed. You guys could let me know. I probably will find out the answer one way or another, but on the one hand, it would be amazing to be able to go ahead and investigate that. But on the other hand, I feel like these two know they're a little tired. The snow is quite thick. We're not exactly in the mood for a fight, but we are in the mood to possibly take the time to establish a little bit more territory, if we can, by moving away from these competitors, in theory, and continuing to search for... Wow, they really are just up there on the mountain. Stay downwind, maybe search for a little bit of food. It looks like there are some scents. Woo. How do you always do this, Silver? I am gonna miss this winter with her, and I cannot wait for another winter because she's living up to the fall part of the Starfall pack. She's sledding. She's literally sledding. I love it. All right, there was a moose nearby, and then recently, just now, there's a snowshoe hare over here because I wouldn't mind a snack. Okay, there's the bison, and actually the snowshoe hare was going in the opposite direction. Finding some bison feels protective, and then there's mule deer up here. We're not super hungry, and it smells like the other wolves might be interacting with those mule deer. The females from the dispersal, well, we do have a bit of a beef to pick with them, and it looks like the birds are flying around in a way that makes me wonder if there's some food available. Let's see. It'd be really interesting. There's 2 wolves right there. It is! I think that's some wolves. It could be something else, but I think those are them. I think... So we have Shattered Pines with us, and I think there's a couple benchmark females and some of the males from another pack. And then down here, how are these deer doing? Oh, down we go again. Somehow We're always sledding. So there's a few deer here. There we go again. And then these bison over here. I love how even they're making this big indent into the snow. That's so cool. All right, but again, noses up in the air as we go ahead and we run and we run. Let's see. We'll ignore that because we are tired. We've got a little bit of food. I think Shattered Pines wanted to maybe do a little bit of the chasing off because he has a little bit loss of pack affinity, but we're not really like cohesively keeping our pack together at the moment. So I like this area though. And also I like the idea, is there some food here? 5 minutes ago. Wow, what a pretty creek. There we go. All right, and we'll offer this to Shattered because he's still recovering from like those significant injuries. But this is lovely. Surrounded by the hills. We can't see a lot right now, but this is a lot better than getting shoved off of a giant cliff. So this is really nice. Let's see if we can go ahead. Can we get back a little bit of our energy from here? I'm trying to remember. Yes. Oh, these two. I just really... I know we need to get on with, you know, the actual continuation of the pack and making sure that we make it so that these two actually get going with having their first litter together, raising them. And it has been a little bit perplexing on some level to end up having to... There we go, there's the scent marker. To end up having to pass up so many opportunities to go ahead and just get started on having our pups, getting reacquainted as the Starry Skies ancestors that we are, learn anew what it's like to have our adventures, but at the same time, like, I really like this little corner we're in. So this would be to the east side of Hell Roaring Mountain, and it looks like there's a pass that we actually went through that might create a fairly interesting area for us to consider taking over. This canyon sort of zone that we might want to definitely control a pass or two that would lead, I assume, up to the higher pastures where a lot of the different elk species like to take their young that we need to think about for the summer. But this is the first summer these two are going to be facing together. They probably aren't going to be thinking about those things right away. But what we might be thinking about are if there are more scents of these wolves in the area. What? Okay, we don't want to fight. We don't want to compete with too many of the other wolves. I wonder what pack is invading our territory. Ugh. Alright. Yeah, Shattered's feeling a little bit lower on pack affinity. Alright. As much fun as it has been to work with these wolves and as much fun as it has been to explore, I can sense when even Shattered, as well as probably all of the desperate cries from many of you as the Starry Skies ancestors, would very much like us to really focus on being able to get a move on and also get a good nap is what I think Silver would be thinking about. So let's slow down. Now, where was that scent post? Here we go. And I wonder what group was behind us that was causing that invasion. And I wonder where they would be invading. Would we know? Possibly not. I don't smell anybody again. And then it'd be interesting if it was the Buffalo Plateau pack. We may have actually ended up. Let's see. There we go. We may have ended up making an enemy of the Buffalo Plateau pack, which is a little bit of a pity. But if that's the way it is, that's the way it is. Is that one of our scent marks? Or is that like the area under being contested? Oh, are those other wolves? Oh boy, I think those are some other wolves. We do not really have the energy for this. But I think they're running. So we'll give it a howl. Just to see what happens. No, those are... Oh, those were not other wolves. Those were a bunch of foxes. Alright, if we're tired enough we can't tell the difference. And we're back in our territory. I think they were chasing some hares. Let's see if we can go ahead and find a good place to rest for now. And we'll see how things look in the morning. And if they look okay, since we definitely need to get some sleep, collapsing in these huge snowbanks. It is so dynamic and beautiful the way the ecosystems just come together now. I'm so proud and grateful to the amazing WolfQuest team, which I know breaks the fourth wall for just a moment, but I really am, because they are so kind and they have put such hard work into it. And that was indeed the Buffalo Plateau Pack pushing their way in and taking more of our territory. I think they have a grudge. Well, let's not let that happen. And let's see what we can do our best with. Also, I absolutely love how playful and cute Shattered is. Hopefully, we can give him a good life too, and we'll be able to find a way to make a happy home that they'll be able to thrive in. All right, let's see. Where are we going here? Where are we going here? I think I saw a rabbit. Snowshoe hare? Yes. All right. And then who's hungrier? Is it ourselves? It's actually Shattered. And I think that we're feeling kind of enchanted with this area. So let's go ahead and see if we can claim and reinforce a little bit of our territory along here and look for that potential den site and then wiggle our way around, kind of just claiming the Coyote Creek zone for ourselves and seeing if we can make it the Falls of Starfall with a little bit less actual falling involved. That would be nice. And then we are gonna take a wiggle to the east. Well, let's reinforce the stuff we have to the west first. I feel as though perhaps we'll have to say when there seems to almost be a map laid out before these two eyes, maybe that is the guidance of the starry sky ancestors is what we might have to say, because it does feel a little cheatsy to do that, but like, you know, the female, wait, dispersals from the Coyote Creek pack. Interesting. And they're nearby, are they? Are they coming into the little zone we have started to carve out? Well, we had a good nap, so now we might have to put our bite where our howl is and find a spot to claim as our own. So far, no sense. Anybody over here? No Coyote Creek sense, but there is a skull somewhere nearby that we might want to find pretty soon, as well as some scent marking that we'll do. I'm tempted to do a little howling as well, just to see if we can draw them out. And it looks like there's even a potential spot for some waterfalls, which would be just a beautiful scenic place to be able to raise some pups. And there is a skull. I wonder what kind of skull that we might be able to discover as well. Just smell rabbits otherwise. That's a lot fewer wolves than we were just running into. But where would the popular spot to scent mark be? There's a moose. That is a very large moose. You know, to wrap up the story of my tutu lady, who was a hula dancer in her youth Aha. And from whom my father got his golden heart, and I hope I inherited a little of that maybe from her. Also, rude much that they decided to go ahead and scent mark literally on the side of a cliff, but you know what? Then we can do it too. Alright, there we go. Well, that's exciting because I feel like there has to be, hopefully, a really nice spot where there might be a potential den in this zone we could take. And let's look for that skull that we can also catch a little scent up. We might have to move carefully until we pick up the scent again. While I wrap up the story of my tutu lady, tutu being elder in Hawaiian, and then you say tutu man for grandfather, tutu lady for grandmother. That might just be a family thing. Obviously, lady or man was not part of the actual Hawaiian vernacular, but pigeon is the mishmash of English, of Hawaiian, of a whole bunch of other bits and bobs of languages, a little bit of Japanese thrown in there from time to time. That is a type of pigeon. The word pigeon often refers to like just kind of like a mishmashed language, but that is what's most common to hear from my Hawaiian family as like a lived experience. Also, there's a dead mule deer doe carcass somewhere, but I don't smell that skull. But now that you've had, of all things, a lesson in a little bit of modern vernacular Hawaiian, we'll go ahead and I will let you know the secret lesson that my grandmother taught me. One of the most important things I have ever learned from my elders about her love of buffalo. For you see, by the time I showed up on the scenes, and little Seri was around and visiting her tutu lady, and tutu lady's house was filled to overflowing with all sorts of knickknacks and couch pillows, of woven blankets and who's what's and whatnots, and mugs of bison. It was everywhere. It was a little overwhelming. Tutu lady passed on this wisdom to me. She sighed very heavily, and as we just found a very special den, I'm very excited about that. She sighed very, very heavily, and she told me, never tell someone your favorite animal, or else that's all they're ever going to gift you. I don't even like bison that much anymore, because I have so many bison things. It's the only thing people get me for any birthday, for any gift anymore. And she said that last part very tongue-in-cheek, but I have never forgotten it, and it still makes me laugh and smile to this day, because tutu lady, she was obviously grateful, but she taught me don't tell people your favorite animal, but to have open, honest conversations is what I actually took away from that. I thought, look, if I have a favorite animal, people are going to hear about it. And look where that led me. But if that favorite animal maybe changes, or I have enough of those things, I should say something. Like, for instance, I still love giraffes. I still like giraffe things. But I'm really getting deep into guinea pigs. And isn't that actually pretty beautiful? Think about surrounding your life with all sorts of different favorite things. Somehow, that's going to translate into trying to collect all of the skulls and bones and antlers for our wolves to be able to have some of their pups' favorite things. I wonder if we can make like almost like a boneyard site where the Starfall pack can just bring all of those different pieces into a collection in one spot and pass it on from generation to generation. But I guess we're gonna have to find out next time. There's another potential den over here, and there might be a little bit of food we could enjoy if only we could find it. But thank you guys so much for joining us on this silly, chaotic adventure where we're at least safe from cougars and other dangers for now, and we have discovered what will hopefully, potentially, become a very special new home. for the future of silver and pines and their stories. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.